Hey everybody, here with a Virpil Collective mod, and I've had this flight stick about 6 months or so, and about a month into having it I noticed a problem that it was intermittently turning off and not acting as it should. So did a little bit of troubleshooting and went on our friend Google and did a search for it, and I found that there was a known issue, I guess, with the cable, the USB cable that was going there. So from the action of lifting and lowering it, it was prone to pinch and bind and wear out the cable here. So I spoke to the people at Virpil, their customer support, and they're very helpful and talked me through some steps to taking off this plate. And I'm going to go ahead, and we found it was the cable, and they were very nice and sent me a free replacement cable, and took a couple weeks to get here, and that fixed it. But you know, I was like, basically the way I've got it set up, it's just asking for that to happen again. I think it's a bad point, just through the action. So I kind of did a workaround. So I'm going to take you through the steps of that, what I did to lessen the likelihood of that happening again. I don't know if you can see, but typically the way it's set up, the USB is the bottom cable. So through the actions of lifting, depending on how you have your collective mounted, on mine it was going underneath the cable, so that's a pretty sharp bend. So what I did was, and I'm going to show you, is take off these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 small screws and this one bigger. These are all Allen head, and let me see. So the bigger one is I can't even read that. 6 millimeter. Take that screw off and you'll have access panel. So what you'll see in there is a small circuit board in the back here, and what you're going to do is there'll be 2 small white wiring harnesses here basically, and obviously they'll be going into the circuit board. Top one's auxiliary, bottom one's USB. I don't currently use the auxiliary, but what you can do is take very carefully with some needle nose pliers those 2 white pins. You can pinch them and kind of wiggle them and pull them loose, and the ribbon cables that go there, there's enough slack, and what I did was I took the USB and switched them and put the auxiliary down and so forth. So what I've created basically is a wider swoop here, not so much of a tight bend that's prone to kinking and wearing down over time. So again, very easy. I don't even really need to take it apart to show you, because I think most people who have this level of controller are pretty comfortable with electronics, and at least, you know, doing this very minor adjustment. So again, like I said, these 6 screws out. Careful, don't lose them. Put them aside. You're going to get a 6 millimeter. Take this off. The plate will come off, and then you'll have 2 harnesses here for these 2 plugs. Simply remove them, plug them back in, and if it really bothers you, I guess you could take this panel off. So USB is now going to be the auxiliary here, and vice versa. So if it bothered you, I guess you could take these off and flip it. I don't care, so it's fine. I just know that the top now is auxiliary. So once you put your pin in there now, what I did was, to make it even a bit stronger, is I went to the automotive store and I purchased some of this 3/8 tubing. What this does, this is sled. For those of you who aren't familiar, you can run cable in here. It just makes it look a bit neater. I ran the cable, and I don't have it here to show you, but I'm sure you can visualize. I ran the cable through this sheathing, and then when I got to the end of it, I took a zip tie, obviously, and put it up. And I didn't just put it down; I put it right around the you know, not the buckle, but the plug rather. So there was a lot of meat, and I took that zip tie and got it nice and tight and tighter on there. So really to help kind of, and what this stuff does, you can kind of, over time, you can kind of help it bend how you want it to go, and it kind of retains that memory over time, and it just makes the cable a little bit more substantial, so you know you're not going to run into that problem down the road. Again, this, I have mine mounted to a platform. I actually took, I think from the stock, this bracket here is flipped around. You know, and for my application, I actually removed this screw that's not even in there right now, but I took it off and flipped this down so I can bolt this flat to the table that I have my, or the mount rather, that I have my chairs mounted on. So now with the cord coming out of the top, and got the cable routed to this sheathing, I went one step further and I purchased these little adhesive, I don't know, I guess they're mounting tabs. I don't know what the correct name of them are at the store, but they're pretty neat if you're not familiar with them. You just take a zip tie and feed it through. It goes through either way, you know, obviously. It won't matter on this one, but they're double-sided 3M tape on here. So I went ahead and, let me see if I can get that on there, stuck it to the bottom like so, ran the cable so it goes like this with it adhered on there, and just went ahead and zipped it down. So again, whatever this is pivoting on, now your cable is not become a weak link here. You're not having the rubbing and binding. It's really kind of firmed it up, and I think I've been running it probably for, I don't know, 4 months like that, and you know, several hundred hours, and it's been much better. So I think that's something definitely working into. I don't know how many of you guys who have the Collective run into this problem, but it's definitely, you know, depending on how you have that wire run, a possibility. And even though Virpil is pretty good, it may be even something that Virpil wants to look at, you know, changing at the, you know, their assembly. If they get enough complaints and this is happening, they obviously have to redesign or do something different. But, you know, for all invested, you're talking maybe $5 for some zip ties and a bracket and a hose. And a little bit of your time just to take those screws off, like I said, and flip those around. So anyway, I hope that helps anybody who's had that problem, or maybe doesn't want to have that problem in the future, who logs a lot of flight hours. I also have a dampener mod, which I am putting on here shortly. So I'm not going to make a video for it until I've got some hours on it and have it installed and really make sure that it's, you know, what I want and I like. But if it all goes to plan, like I think it will, I'll probably put a video online in the next short time or so, and explaining the parts and required materials needed to do that mod, the dampener mod. So anyway, thanks for checking it out. And